I'm Brian Hendricks, and we've got this thawed out little bobcat here, pretty little cat, and we're gonna get going on the skinning part of it here. But first, I've got the CITES tag in here. We're gonna get rid of that now, and then I'm gonna show you how I did the cuts on that, just to get that CITES tag put in there. What you're doing is you're making a cut inside. Make sure you get clear inside those lips and make your cut clear up in there, and just carefully keep cutting until you can come all the way up, and you're going to come out the eyelid. And you want to also be careful on the eyelid. That might have a little cut. I remember I put a little cut in one of them because I was in a hurry. I cut a little bit of the eyelid, but not bad. But anyway, you're going to cut all the way through there, and you're getting an opening is what you're doing from the eyelid down to the lips. And what I like to do, if I'm going to freeze this thing then, is this is a chunk of just old electrical house wire. I don't know, like 10-3 or something, you know, that I've cut into chunks. And I'll put that in there and then freeze it in the, roll the thing up in the bag, however you're going to freeze it, and make sure that head's out there where you can get at this. And you'll be able to pull that out real easy when you get to the DNR station to have your CITES tag put on. You can pull that out with the rest of the animal being froze. You don't need to thaw the thing out and do all that. You can pop that out of there pretty good. Get the CITES tag in, they'll clip it, and you're good to go. So that's how that was done. Another thing we need to do before we start the actual skinning is get a nose to eye measurement. The easiest way is just with a straight tape. And try to put things kind of in position when you measure this. You can also feel in there, and you can feel that corner. There's a little bump on the edge of the bone in there, right in the inside corner. Find something here. It's right against the bone right there. There's a little bump right in there. But anyway, it's roughly the inside corner of the eye there, out to the tip of the nose, and that one's like 1 3/8. So write down your measurement, and that's 1 3/8. A lot of the heads start at 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches head will work fine for this cat. You can usually get away if in doubt, or if your measurement is in between sizes, go a little bigger on a cat. You won't have any problem. They have a lot of skin on their heads. I guess that's a good time to mention that. Here's how much loose skin you have on a cat head. It's no different than live animals, a dog or anything else. Look at all the loose skin. So think about that when you're putting things back together, and you got all these hair patterns to mess with. Think about how much loose skin there is and how that skin really piles up between those ears, So that's kind of that part of it. That's the only measurement we're going to take until after we get it skinned. Then we're going to take some measurements off the carcass. So I'm going to go ahead and start skinning this thing. I'm going to turn around the other way because that's easier for me. Also, it's a good time, I guess, if it's got any burrs in it, get those out, because you're not going to want those in there when you get to fleshing later, because they can pop a hole in the skin when you're fleshing. Burrs, like say clots of blood, any of that kind of stuff, dirt. It's a good time to brush that out if you need to. So, okay, there's 3 basic methods of skinning. I mean, there's many ways to skin a cat, but anyway, the 3 normal or most used methods are dorsal skinning. In that case, when I do a dorsal skin, I put the cat right on its belly like that, and I make a cut from just behind the head, almost up to the back of the skull, almost between the ears there, and I go all the way down. And as you're coming down to the back end, raise that tail up so you know where that tail is. Don't just keep cutting, because you're normally going to cut way too far if you just keep cutting. You want to raise that tail up so you can see right where that's at. And I usually lay a couple fingers there, and that's as far as I go with that cut. That's for dorsal. And when I do dorsal skin, I also, not everybody does, but it's personal preference, I also make a cut from the pad up short of the heel. A little bit short. Leave that as a little pocket there, and it'll give you a reference for lining it up on the form. So from the pad all the way up to short of the heel there on the back feet, And on the front feet, front legs, and this is with most any animals, if you play with that hair a little bit there, you'll see there's an actual natural line where it comes together at. Where these hair patterns on the inside of the leg meet the hair patterns on the outside of the leg, and it forms a ridge like that. That's right the line you want to follow. If you're going to cut a bear or anything like that, you want to follow that line. But for dorsal skinning, again, you don't have to cut the legs, but I like to. And I'll go right from here through the pad and along the side of that pad, and then I'll follow right up that hair pattern line and only go up a couple inches past that pad right there. And what that does, it allows me to open this up really well and get at those toes, to skin the toes out and stuff, and also for claying the toes back up during the mounting process. So that would be dorsal skin. Ventral skin, I can't remember the last time I ventral skinned anything, but a lot of people do for different reasons. That's just kind of the opposite of dorsal. You're making your cuts on the belly side and opening everything up from there. And you can actually skin the legs, everything all the way out through a ventral skin too. That's ventral skinning. What I'm going to do today is case skinning. Also, when it is dorsal skin, you also need to, I also cut the tail, but that can happen even after it's all off the carcass. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is a case skin. And case skinning is, or tube skinning, some people call it. It's going from 1 foot up and across and all the way out to the other back foot. And there's different ways that you can do it around the hind end there. I like to go right up into the vent, and that just makes a nice spot to intersect. You know, make this cut into the vent, make this cut into the vent, and then your tail also going out. So, and in most positions you're never going to see any of that, so it's a nice spot to tie everything together right there. So this cat here actually has a bunch of fly eggs on it right there. Like I said, it was really warm. It's got some bloat. Had I not thawed this in the pickle, there's a very good chance that this cat would, show a lot of hair slippage and spoilage by now if it was just laid out to thaw. So I think we're going to save this cat just by thawing it that way. Another advantage to the thawing in the pickle, or putting them into the pickle right away fresh even, is it kills all the ticks and fleas and all the other creepy crawlers that's on them. So, but we'll get started.